Hello, my friend. We're back at it again. And today I'm going to tell you about a lesson that I've learned recently. It's a kind of a niche thing, but I think that this would actually genuinely help my younger self. So that's why I'm making this video, shall we? So let's begin. So what this video is going to be about is how to improve the texture of your mind, right? And like that sounds super intellectual, but it's basically just how to be happier, right? How to reduce the amount of sadness in your day-to-day life, right? How to make the majority of your living experience happy, right? There's a couple ways of saying it, but I like saying that the texture of your mind, okay? Because honestly, that's what it is, right? The internal texture of your mind, whether that's and that includes like the thoughts, the general feeling that you have just going throughout your life. Because we do have these ups and downs, right? These general, ebbs and flows, right? Of, oh, I feel happy one day, and then other days, I'm not as happy, or, something bad happened and I'm sad now, right? Those happen, right? And that's okay, right? So I'm not saying like negative emotions are bad or anything, right? It just happens, right? But whenever you're chronically into the negative side of things, whenever you're just unhappy, just in general, and you don't know what about, that's where a lot of suffering comes from. And I think I've experienced that personally, where a couple months ago, yeah, a couple to a few months ago, my internal texture wasn't great, right? I wasn't like depressed or anything, but like I just had this negative internal texture of my brain, right? I was just unhappy about things, right? And now it's a different scene, right? And so I'm going to tell you the steps that I took to get from that, that unhappy self, right, to where I am now, which honestly is a lot happier, right? I'm very happy about it. It's kind of weird because you don't really think about it unless like you're watching this video. Obviously, not now you are thinking about it, but it's kind of like breathing. You don't think about breathing until you start thinking about breathing, and then you're like very aware of it, you know. And so I think that's the first thing, honestly, is awareness of your mental state, because a lot of people, they aren't aware of it. They don't catch themselves saying those negative things to themselves. They don't catch the, oh, you're fat, Keegan. Like, Keegan, you're fat. What are you doing? Right? Like, they don't catch that. I didn't catch that. Right? It's just this constant internal thing, like, you're fat. You're fat. What are you doing, Key? But stuff like that, right? You need to be aware of that, right? And it's no wonder that my meditation practice, ever since it's, been more consistent, things have been getting better. So that's something to consider. It's just your meditation practice, right? Your awareness, mindfulness practice. Get back into it, okay? If you're not already doing it, do it, right? Have a mindfulness practice. Literally 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day of just meditation, just sitting and focusing on one thing, right? And then being aware of when you start to not focus on that thing, right? It'll translate into other areas of life, right? So that's the first thing, is just awareness, right? Second thing, honestly, just like fix the things that you're nagging yourself about, right? I was nagging myself about my physique and, my general like situation and stuff like that, right? Mostly my physique, right? And so whenever I fix that, I have something to be proud about now, right? I'm like, my physique is way better than it was a couple months ago. Like, I've recovered from that bulk, and now when I look at myself in the mirror, I can only it's very hard to think negative things about myself, because I've done the work. It shows, right? I think what's his face, Andy Elliott, right? He's this big sales guy, but he says be a walking billboard, right? If your physical self is like showing that you're a good person in a way, that you're able to put in hard work, that you should be proud of yourself, it's kind of hard to not feel good about yourself, right? And obviously there's those people who take body dysmorphia way too far, but there's a certain extent to where like at that point you're just, you're like self-pity or whatever. But I hope you're getting what I'm saying here. It's just like, especially with your physique, That's a huge thing. Honestly, you should be unhappy if you're fat. I'm gonna be honest. Make yourself a walking billboard, and make yourself proud. Like every time you look at yourself in the mirror, whenever you look at yourself, are you proud of yourself, right? For putting in the work, right? That's just a mental boost, right? Because whenever I'm just walking around, right? I know it sounds kind of like narcissistic, but whenever I'm walking around and I just see myself in the reflection, it's like, oh yeah, it's like I have a decent amount of muscle, right? It's like I'm not like bodybuilder, like huge jacked, but like I have a pretty good physique, and I'm very proud of it, right? I'm not going to be complacent, but I'm proud of what I built so far, if that makes sense, right? So yeah, that kind of shifted, but your physical self is a huge factor because your mental state and your physical self are tied. They're linked, right? And this kind of coincides with your diet as well, right? I'm not gonna like I've said this in the past couple of videos, but I'm not gonna throw any dogma at you on what diet you should follow. But just go for the diet that makes you not feel like garbage, okay? And you may not know what that feels like because you've been feeling like garbage for so long, but just experiment, okay? Whole foods, no BS, processed stuff, lower the sugar intake, that kind of stuff, and just see what makes you feel your best, right? I've always found that I like myself more, I like my life more whenever I don't have like a weird like bloated stomach, I don't have like weird brain fog, I don't feel awful because of the food that I ate. My experience of life is way better whenever I'm not trashing myself with garbage foods. Okay. So just look into your diet, because again, your physical self is tied to your mental state and just your overall happiness, right? Because like you can imagine a dude who has nothing poisoning him in his diet, literally poisoning him in his diet. And you can imagine someone who has that poison, like they're just generally going to be more irritable, right? Because they're sick, they're unwell, right? Of course they're going to be more irritable. Like think about like an injured animal in the wild, right? Like they're going to be kind of pissed off, right? If you try and get close to them, they're going to snap at you, right? And I'm not saying like we're not wild animals, but you kind of get the same thing, right? The stress hormones are out, and your texture of your life is just not as happy. It's not as upbeat as it could be. So just consider that. What else? Oh yeah, this is something that I was considering as well, is don't tell yourself like a story, right? Like just because we humans are really good at convincing ourselves of stuff, right? And whenever you tell yourself a story of X, Y, or Z, you start to believe it, especially whenever you tell yourself repeatedly, right? I think the best thing you can do for yourself is just to really like, again, this kind of ties back into the awareness thing, but be aware of the story you're telling yourself about, whatever you're doing, right? Because if you say, oh, I hate this, 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 right? There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of negativity going on, right? So try and turn that around, right? Or change the situation to where you like it more, right? That's what I did. I hated, like I absolutely despised working in this, like it was like a small retail store, right? I absolutely despised it because I was inside, I felt like constrained. I was not getting any sunlight, right? I was staying up later than I wanted to, getting like bright light into my eyes so I'd have worse sleep, right? It was awful, awful, awful days, right? So I just changed that. I just stopped working there, and I started working in a place that would allow me to work outside, right? Outside with people my age that are not like smokers and depressed looking, right? Like it's a better vibe, right? So that's the other way that you can change this. So it's just, one, change the story you're telling to yourself, and two, just change the environment that you're in, because maybe it's not a great environment, right? What else? I don't know. Going outside is really good, because I don't know. I think if you develop this self-image of like a goblin that doesn't go outside, it's kind of hard to like again with the walking billboard stuff, if you look like you don't go outside, like you know you don't, right? And that's gonna plague your mind, right? Nobody else really cares, right? But we're talking about the internal state of your brain, right? You will know, right? You will know if you do X, Y, or Z. All right. Oh, this is the next thing. This is another idea. Do what you say you're gonna do. Okay. Make those tiny promises that you tell yourself, the things that you tell your friends, right? Do those things. Right? It's gonna give you the self-image. It's gonna give you confidence. It's gonna help you so much more. Like today, I was thinking about, you know what? Maybe I should just go home. But no, I'm not. I'm out at the track. Out at the track, right? And I'm gonna go run. Even though I was thinking about, you know what? Maybe I should go home because, my clothes are a little sweaty and blah, 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 blah. It's cope, right? Because earlier I said that I'm gonna run after my shift, right? Look where I'm at, right? And I know this is going to just allow me to have the confidence in myself to know that I will do what I say, right? It's underrated how awesome that feeling is, because for the longest time, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this as well, it's like you don't know if you're actually going to do what you say, right? You're unreliable to yourself, right? So how can you possibly trust yourself? That's not a good, like, it's not a good relationship to have with yourself, bro. Like, just think about that. Like, you just lie to yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna go work out today, and then you don't. You say it again and again and again, and look at that. You're just like, you just live your life unhappy and fat. It's sad. Anyways, I've been yapping on for a while now, but I hope you get what I'm saying with this video. It's kind of a niche topic, but again, I think this is super important. Your day-to-day experience is what defines you as life, defines your life, because, you can talk about your plans for the future. You can talk about your past and, everything you've experienced up until now, but that doesn't matter, right? Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not guaranteed, right? So if your current experience is that of suffering and unhappiness, what the hell are you doing, right? Obviously, it's great that most of us will have tomorrow, right? But imagine this. Imagine you're a very old man, right? And this is your last day. Wouldn't you want to be happy? Wouldn't you, like, Alex Ramosi has this great quote. It's like, I think it's Alex Ramosi. I don't know. Maybe it's Alex Ramosi Drift. But basically, if you can be sad for no reason, you can be happy for no reason, right? That doesn't necessarily like correlate with this, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? Make your experience positive, right? And again, I'm not saying that negative emotions are bad, right? Sometimes you just feel them, right? And they're rightfully so, right? You should feel negative emotion if you eat bad food, if you do a bad habit, if somebody dies, like you should probably feel sad about that, bro. Like you don't need to be like the Stonewall, I'm always happy kind of guy, right? No, like I'm just saying, like your average experience should be on the positive side of things, right? And so I've just listed out a couple things that will help you with that. Anyways, I hope this video helps you out, bro. I've done a lot of like it's kind of weird because it's such a niche video, but I think like this would genuinely be so valuable for my younger self, right? Just go like your day-to-day, like having a positive day-to-day experience is so valuable, it's true. It's like invaluable, right? Because I don't know. Anyways, I'm done yapping. If you like what I'm saying, go subscribe. Make sure you drink your water, be better, and have a W day.